I'm going to tell you right up front that this brownie, number 19, the Perfect Brownie from Best American Recipes 1999 from a viewer, might be my favorite of all the brownies I've made. The goal of the brownie experiment extravaganza is to find a fudgy brownie with a shiny crinkly top. And while analyzing the recipe and putting it into the magic spreadsheet, I noticed that it was very simple, whose ingredients were very straightforward. I noticed that the baking temperature at 325 Fahrenheit is lower than most brownies I've worked with. I actually alter the recipe to lower its total weight. I try to keep the weight comparable to all the other brownies I'm doing in the experiment. This proved to be unnecessary. I began like I always do. I converted the entire recipe to grams, made labels, scaled in advance, so that when it's time to work, I'm ready to go. The deli cups are a really handy visual tool. I can see how much is in the deli cup, and that gives me an awareness of if it's accurate. I can read the label, and I know what it is and how much it is, so that I'm not using an ingredient from a different recipe. And I can physically put them together in categories. In this case, I have dries, fats, which include butter and chocolate, the sucrose, and some wets, vanilla extract, and egg. These visual cues help me stay organized, and the labels stay on my counter until I am done with the recipe. This way, if I've missed something or I feel like I'm making a mistake, I can check my work at any time. Ingredients are added in thirds so that every time there's an addition, the prior ingredients have time to catch up. I add a third of the sucrose. It's a little lumpy from a humid summer. It becomes cohesive. I'm not aerating while I whisk, I'm stirring. The whip is on the bottom of the bowl. It's not being lifted and creating a lot of air. I want a fudgy brownie, and air would make it cakey. The room temperature eggs come next by adding them in thirds and waiting until they're mostly incorporated until I add the next third. I'm creating a cohesive batter. The last set of ingredients are the dries, and I'm going to use a spatula to gently fold them in. I don't mix until all the streaks of flour disappear on the first and second addition. I do that only on the third addition and very gently. This brownie has baking powder, which is interesting. I was concerned it would make a cakey brownie. It also has a hefty dose of salt and vanilla, unsweetened chocolate, and bittersweet chocolate. At this stage of the mixing, I'm getting really curious about the outcome because I'm seeing some behaviors that do indicate it's going to have a crinkly, shiny top. It's stretchy and pulls away from the edges of the bowl. When it came out of the oven, it was quite fluffy, but it fell during cooling. I would definitely make a much larger batch because I didn't like how thin the overall brownie was, but that did not affect the flavor. The flavor was amazing right out of the pan, and it was even better next day. I think this might be my favorite brownie. The texture is lovely, and it's definitely fudgy, but this brownie helped me make a decision that if a brownie tastes really good, the texture doesn't matter as much. I'm completely surprised that the simplest brownie is my favorite. I need to make it again to be sure.